Posture. Wrestling. Grappling. Long ago, sports divided these elements, and the whole world couldn't choose the best one. But 25 years ago, the UFC united them once again, in search for the ultimate avatar. This is MMA time! And today we take a look at Israel Adesanya and his battle technique. The biggest strength of Israel is striking, which was mastered during his career in kickboxing. Years of practice and a great number of matches helped him forge his own style, with a big emphasis on deceptive tactics, decoys, and triggers. This is also the origin of all his combos and tricks. One thing Stylebender is good at is jab. He does it in 3 varieties. Basic jab, to keep distance and use hands at their capacity. Uppercut jab, the same kind Ryan Bader used against Yemelyanenko. And last but not the least, fake jab to hide kicks and punches. Or vice versa, fake kicks to hide jab. He can use this move just like that. Adesanya always starts with a basic jab and then expands on it depending on actions of his opponent. You can say that his style is all about jab. This is the way Israel controls the fight. The next big part of Adesanya's style is his knees. The way he uses them mostly come from his practice with Muay Thai, which was the first martial art he ever tried. This experience came in handy when he started his career into kickboxing and especially MMA. His knees are a tool to counter the most aggressive opponents, but even taking the offensive he uses them anyway. Specifically this move right here, long-range kick with a jump rush and a posture change. The way Adesanya uses his knees is pinpoint accurate. As you can see in this fight, he kicks his opponent pretty badly. Then he uses the move which looks like another kick, but it's actually just a big step to shorten the distance. You could also notice how exceptionally Israel changes stances in this fight, which is also a part of a strategy. The thing is, he often uses it as a decoy. Changing postures seem like a kick for opponent and forces him to block, and after dozens of these his attention will be exhausted for sure. And then, when he doesn't expect, a decoy turns into a kick. And Adesanya has got a lot of kicks that look like posture changing, so even with momentum on your side you probably won't dodge or block any of these. He's got flying knees, spinning back fist, spinning back kick, spinning heel kick, switch kick, and many others. Can we also take a moment to appreciate Adesanya's footwork, because even for kickboxing is something you do not see quite often. The way Israel uses dodge after every lucky series of hits combined with his head movement makes him almost impossible to hit back. There's a reason why Adesanya feels himself at home in MMA more than any other kickboxer. Kickbox is mostly about kick for many fighters, while Israel puts more effort in the boxing side of things. And as you may know, more kicks, less chances to avoid takedown. The greatest stumbling rock when moving from kickboxing to MMA is wrestling. Many athletes tried mixed martial arts and failed because of it. Knowing how to wrestle is crucial for many matches like these. Surprisingly, it's not about easy. No other UFC fighter had such a notable learning curve in wrestling as he had. First fight, 3 takedowns missed. Second, 2 takedowns. Third, 1 takedown. And fourth, no takedown at all. Keep in mind that it was his progress during a year, with no convenient rivals, each one harder than previous. But Adesanya kept going no matter what. Let's break these matches one by one and see how he was making progress. The beginning of 2018. First fight, against Wilkinson. Stylebender misses 3 takedowns. Underhooks take him off guard during clinch, and he's still not able to hold his hands the right way to avoid it. However, his sense of balance and the ability to break the guards saved the day. Although one nasty habit almost fails him. When Israel breaks from guard, he tried to move back, but it's a good chance for his opponent to grab his legs and pull him towards the cage. This reveals another weak spot – overhooks that he uses to get away but only makes himself easier to take down. Spring of 2018 – match against Marvin Vettori. This time Adesanya misses only 2 takedowns, and not until round 3. Overhooks fail him again, and he falls for opponent's decoy while moving left. Vettori uses Israel's strength against him, breaks his balance, and performs a takedown. Summer of 2018 – third fight against Brett Tavares. Israel shows some great improvement over his technique. Hands control and hooks performance is way better. Tavares tries again and again to break through his legs, but Izzy does everything right, except one takedown. Brett just pulls over and drops him on the mat. Seems that Adesanya hasn't seen that coming, but this only happened once in 5 rounds. Israel also has his moments in offensive, like this one, when he executes foot sweep from wide thigh clinch. Fall of 2018, match number 4, against Brunson. This is the ultimate masterpiece in Stylebender's career so far. His opponent, Derek Brunson, belongs to High League and tries to demonstrate his wrestling abilities right from the get-go. He fails though. All types of takedowns from various positions, even this cheap move with pants, but Adesanya defends himself perfectly. No mistakes this time around. He's more aggressive and tactical than ever. Over and over, he gives away his front leg to chicken distance, and when his rival attempts to perform a takedown, he gets knocked out with a knee. Adesanya is good enough in grappling to avoid risky situations, but surprisingly he uses his skills in jiu-jitsu in both defense and offense. During clinch or nearby cage, he often performs kimura strikes in order to gain advantage over his opponent. He also likes to take rivals by surprise with Iminari roll, which is more about intimidation than anything else. Stylebender's striking was also improved. When it came to kickboxing, he felt himself right at home and free to move anyhow. Not in MMA. It took some time and effort to adapt his style with wrestling in mind. Changes in his movement were apparent during his first fights. Earlier, he did it when necessary. But back then, with no experience and being afraid of takedown, he moved way faster and less sparingly. However, his confidence grew stronger fight after fight. And in match with Brunson, he felt himself comfortable as before, like he belonged. His arsenal also grew bigger, like this move right here, kinda what Nurmagomedov does, holding opponent's arm to prevail him from defending himself. Adesanya performs it differently though. He implemented this technique right into his posture, so that he could remove rival's hand entirely and hit him right into his head. The way he works his front hand is reminiscent of John Jones, only without eye pokes. He uses his arm's length to prevent opponent from coming any closer. In case of aggression, he can easily change posture to thigh clinch that allows him to use throws and knees to his advantage. Israel Adesanya looks like the ultimate champion, the real avatar from the world of martial arts. He holds the record 19-0, and he's the only fighter on roster who can perform in 3 disciplines on a high level: MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. That being said, Stylebender is far from perfect. There was this one kickboxing match when his opponent seemed to be so weak, Israel lost his attention and spammed similar hits with no defense whatsoever. The result was knockout. Although he seems to be much careful now during his MMA career, this can make a huge difference in his next fight against Paulo Costa. One moment of indiscretion will be enough for his opponent to perform a knockdown. Obviously, Adesanya holds public attention in this match. His fighting IQ and jab should do the job, considering that Costa had difficulties with it before, in one of his previous meetings against amateur taekwondo guy Uriah Hall. However, there are 2 moments to keep in mind. First, Israel has to make Paulo respect his jab and build his offense upon it. Otherwise, Costa will perform as usual, which means pushing with kicks down to the niche, then triggering along with left hook aiming for jaw and right for torso. This kind of combat leaves no chances for stylebender, and torso hooks would be enough for a knockout. Second, his mental state. Even before match with Romero, he seemed unfocused and thirsty for everyone's appreciation. Back then, old as hell Yule almost made him cry with a backflip, which also left a mark. It may seem like minor issues, but this kind of unreasonable and amateur behavior continued even after the fight, when he successfully retained his title, but ended up being angry at the audience for judging match as unfair. What followed is painting his hair in all colors of rainbow, thrashing his haters even before they could say anything, and so on. Before, he was pretty confident about conquering the UFC, but as for now, he's full of teenage angst and arrogant claims, like he cares only about money. Maybe it's just all about sudden glory and certain stuff that becomes accessible with it. In that case, Adesanya isn't the first UFC champion losing this fight. So here we have it. The match where one talented champion that seems to think about everything but his opponent against way less talented but more focused and determined contender. Even if Israel will be able to keep his shit together, this victory won't be easy for him. Otherwise, in case this behavior is sincere, good chances it will end up with knockout from Paulo Costa. Anyway, who do you think should win in this fight? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Our next forecasts will be available soon enough.
If you like our content and want to support our channel, visit our Patreon. There are a lot of analyses of fighters, top fives, documentaries and much more. Link is in the description. If you like that type of content, hit like button, smash subscribe and kick that notification button.